I'm not a lawyer, but rapper Lil Durk has been arrested for M for hire charges. And a few of y'all said y'all wanted a recap, so let's get into it. So Durk, whose real name is Durk Devontae Banks, was arrested in Florida by the U.S. Marshals on Thursday night. And although I don't have his indictment yet, his arrest seems to be connected to the 5 OTF members who were indicted last week. And I have that indictment, so let's go through it. There's a lot of names and nicknames, so bear with me. The indictment for the 5 OTF members has 5 charges, and I'm going to highlight the first 2. Number 1, conspiracy and use of interstate facilities to commit Big M for hire, resulting in death, use, carry, and discharge of firearms and machine weapon, and possession of such firearms in furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. The indictment says that the 5 defendants in this indictment, Kevon Grant, DeAndre Wilson, Keith Jones, David Lindsay, and Asa Houston, I don't know if I said the first name right, were members or associates of an organization called Only the Family, or OTF. And this organization produced and sold music from artists primarily from the Chicago area. The indictment goes on to tell the story of King Von's death, saying that 4 years ago in 2020, there was an altercation in Atlanta involving a high-ranking OTF member and a man with the initials TB, which appears to be Tyquan Terrell Bowman, aka Quando Rondo. So during the altercation, one of Quando Rondo's associates pulled out a weapon, resulting in the death of a man with the initials DB. And DB seems to stand for Davon Daquan Bennett, aka King Von. So to make sure you're keeping up, according to this indictment, there's King Von, Durk, and OTF over here get into an altercation with Quando Rondo's people over here. As a result of that altercation, King Von is unalived. After the death of King Von, the indictment says that co-conspirator number 1, whoever that is, made clear in coded language that they would pay a bounty or a monetary reward and or make payment to anyone who took part in the killing of TB for his role in King Von's unaliving. And again, TB seems to be Quando Rondo. So fast forward 2 years later, the indictment says that on August 18, 2022, co-conspirators in this case learned that Quando Rondo was staying at a hotel in Los Angeles. 4 defendants in this case and co-conspirator number 2, whoever that is, traveled from Chicago to LA, and the 5th defendant named in this case traveled to LA on a private jet for the purpose of unaliving Quando Rondo. It says that on August 19, 2022, they used 2 vehicles to track, stalk, and attempt to kill TB by gunfire, but instead ended up unaliving his cousin, Savier Robinson, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, who was also in the car. Now, a little further down in the indictment, it says that co-conspirator number 1, whoever that is, would place bounties on individuals that co-conspirator number 1 and other OTF members wanted to be not alive anymore, and goes over the overt acts. In total, there are 28 overt acts. If you've been keeping up with YSL, you know that overt acts are actions that are done to further or accomplish the overall goal of the conspiracy. Overt acts don't have to be crimes, but they certainly can be. As an example, in this case, the goal or object of the conspiracy, according to the prosecutors, was to unalive TB, aka Quando Rondo. And overt act number 13 says that on August 18, 2022, defendant Grant purchased 4 black ski masks from a sporting goods store in Los Angeles County using cash. So again, purchasing some ski masks from a store is not a crime, but the government is saying it's an overt act because those masks, according to them, were used in the actual unaliving. There's also overt act number 20, which says that on August 19, 2022, using a BMW and Infiniti, defendants and co-conspirator number 2 followed and tracked Quando Rondo's black Escalade to a clothing store located on Melrose Avenue in West Hollywood, California. Below images show the BMW and Infiniti following behind black Escalade in which Quando Rondo and his cousin were passengers. Now, an example of a criminal overt act is act number 23, which says that on August 19, 2022, at the Beverly gas station, 2 of the defendants and co-conspirator number 2 used the firearms that they received from defendant Grant to shoot at Quando Rondo's car, resulting in the death of his cousin, SR. And the final overt act listed in this indictment is number 28, which says that following the death of Savier Robinson, defendant Wilson paid defendant Jones and Lindsay on behalf of another co-conspirator for their role in this conspiracy. I don't recommend you commit any crimes because I don't want to make an I'm not a lawyer but video about you. However, taking an airplane to go commit a crime is a choice. It is also being reported that Durk was scheduled to take a private jet to Italy before he was arrested in Florida, and they arrested him while he was on his way to the airport. He also had booked flights to Dubai, Switzerland, but didn't get on either of those planes. So that is the current indictment against the 5 members of OTF. Dirk is not listed on this indictment as a defendant, but being that he is charged with the big M for hire, the assumption is that he may be one of these unnamed co-conspirators. So we'll see when I can get my hands on his indictment, but that's where we are for now.